What if just one YouTube video could make you over $1 million without any paid ads, without any complicated sales funnels? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a concrete example of how I was able to do just that, and I'm going to bring the receipts. On my other channel, I have a video called 1,000 Fans in 90 Days. That video has been referenced by thousands of people on my application form as the reason why they wanted to work with me. This came from a pretty small niche of musicians wanting to learn about music marketing. When I went back and tracked all of the revenue from those applications, that single video generated over $1 million in sales, which earned me another 2 Comma Club award from ClickFunnels, which looks like this. You can see my others in the back. That one piece of strategic content, $1 million of impact. That's what happens when you build assets instead of just creating content. Now, I'm not making this video to brag about how much money I made, because truth be told, my businesses made that money. I take a very modest salary from those businesses. This video is aimed to help business owners understand the true power, which is YouTube. And I wanted to also inspire anybody looking to grow their channel by showing what's possible. Look, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with sponsorships and AdSense income, and not to mention affiliate income, which I could break down in a future video. If you want me to do that, let me know in the comments below. This method that I'm about to break down, I'm about to share with you guys in this video, is building a real business through strategic content. This is by far the most effective way to leverage YouTube. Now, I'll break this entire system down into like 5 segments that are easy to follow along with, that show you my exact playbook on how I did this so that you guys can do the same, use it immediately, even if you're starting with 0 subscribers as of today. Newsflash, we all start with 0 subs, so you might as well get to work. Here's what we're going to be covering in this video. The Evergreen lead magnet strategy that keeps pulling views for years, the trust engine that converts strangers into believers, the simple funnel that captured over 11,000 applications from one video, the multi-million-dollar revenue breakdown, the 5-step blueprint that you can copy tonight, and a little bit in between. Now let's dive into the first piece. Look, we've been brainwashed into believing that you have to go viral in order to be successful and make money off YouTube. We just need to chase viral trends and be obnoxious and script fake pranks and become the next Mr. Beast. But you know that's not true. We're just missing that one strategy that actually builds wealth and builds a real business using YouTube. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to be charismatic and you don't have to be bubbly, and you don't have to have the greatest gear. But you have to understand the systems. Look, I used to chase the views and virality and the attention. I mean, you can go watch my old videos on my old channel. They're super cringy, side note, but I keep them up to show you how far I've come. And it's something that's a reminder of not just chasing attention. I would spend days, sometimes weeks on videos that would never get any traction. And then after a lot of failed videos, a lot of years of banging my head up against the wall, feeling like giving up, quite frankly, I shifted from creating for attention and shifted to creating with intention. And look, guys, like at that moment, I felt like I cracked the code. It was simple, nothing's easy, but it was simple. Solving problems that never expire. That was the play. What does my audience need help with? Rather than, how can I get attention and be an entertainer? How can I help and be an educator? So years ago, I was a full-time music producer. I went deaf in my left ear in 2016. I had to kind of pivot. So I just started teaching. And I would say, what questions did I have? What questions do my musician peers, producer peers, artist peers have? One of the questions was, how do I build a fan base? So my 1,000 Fans in 90 Days video answered that question. How do I build a true fan base quickly? And this wasn't a time-sensitive trend. This was a timeless pain point that was relevant decades ago. It's massively important today. And guess what? It's still going to matter years from now. I added the 90 days to the title to transform a vague aspiration into an urgent, specific outcome that viewers could visualize. Behind the scenes, I tested a couple different thumbnails. Like I'm always preaching on this channel, even back then before they had the A/B testing, I would try this, try that. Luckily, I came up with a super simple thumbnail that actually had bumped up my click-through rate, and it hit between 8 and 9%. Those small thumbnail tests created a massive shift in my traffic, and I just watched it day to day, and it started looking like a hockey stick. And why did it work? Well, because I targeted an evergreen problem with an optimized packaging. The view graph, I'll show it to you right now. It looks like a staircase that keeps climbing year after year. In fact, in the last 30 days, this thing has had thousands of views, and I haven't promoted it. In fact, I don't even do that anymore. But that video is still gaining a ton of traffic. All through organic reach, mind you. That's right, 100% organic. No ads ever to this video. But here's what most creators completely miss about turning those views into actual income. And it's not what you think. We have to understand that a view is temporary attention, but building trust within that view grants you permanent permission, unless you screw it up. Here's how I learned to lean into the psychology, right? I didn't want just views. I wanted to change lives. So I personally answered the first, 300 comments, if not more than that, showing viewers that I genuinely cared about their success. I cared about what they were saying, their feedback. I had loads of people comment on that video with updates later on, sharing what they were able to gain. I had followers that had, or subscribers that had like 50 followers, and then they gained like 5,000 followers in just a few weeks using exactly what I taught in that video. What I would do is I would pin those success stories as the top comment. And every time I'd see them come in, something new impressive, I would unpin this one and pin the new one. It was like a revolving social proof thing that attracted even more engagement. Now, at the end of that video, at the time, I strategically placed 2 end screen options, a detailed case study showing some real results from someone I had worked with, and a behind the scenes breakdown of my process, or like a framework that I had been using at the time. Now, the result was 4% of the viewers, so about 40,000 people, actively chose to keep their session with me, right? Continue the journey with my content by clicking on one of those other videos that I had suggested at the end of that video. See, this type of engagement is so important because it sends 2 very critical signals. It tells YouTube's algorithm, this content matters, it's awesome, people are sticking around for this creator. And it also shows potential clients that the creator genuinely cares, they understand the next step, they show them kind of behind the curtain, behind the scenes, give them testimonials, because at the end of the day, we could say that we know everything, but without any testimonials, we're just one-sided, right? We need to be able to show the transformations that we are providing for those that we work with. But engagement is just the beginning. Now, the real magic happens when the viewers hit the application page. And what I discovered there is going to blow your mind. Forget about the complex funnels. My approach was so simple that it almost sounds stupid until you see the results. So every video description contained just one link to a book a call application. No confusion, no multiple paths, just one clear next step. But here's the clever part. On that application, I included one tracking question. What video inspired you to apply to work with me? Now, when people answered your 1,000 fans in 90 days video over and over and over, some variations, right? Like your 1,000 fan challenge or whatever, I could trace back their entire journey from the view to the sale. And that's how I know that one single video generated over $1 million, because I tracked every single response. I went back and looked at all the applications and, same video, same video, same video, same video. That application itself was a simple typeform survey that qualified prospects and then booked them directly into a strategy call or a discovery call. No retargeting ads, no email sequences, no overwhelm. Now, for full transparency, my inbox became overwhelming, to say the least, but it was a gold mine, because that one link, that one form, that one clear path to working together gave me tons of calls, tons of applications, tons of people to connect with and look through and kind of gather to see who was qualified. Now, when those qualified leads got to me or somebody on my team for a call, something incredible happened that most coaches never experience. Imagine waking up to discover that people are already pre-sold before you ever even speak to them on a call. Here's exactly what that looked like financially. So the final tally from that video was more than 11,000 applications from people who already understood my method. They trusted my approach. They enjoyed my presentation style. They were familiar with my personality and my opinions, not to mention all the other content that I was putting out to serve them. Now, were they all qualified? Of course not. But if they weren't, we would point them back to the free content on YouTube, or sometimes even send them additional resources until they were ready, or something to move them along their path and get the needle moving forward for them. During month 1, I offered a 12-week program that was $2,000. Back then, I was like, nobody's going to pay me $2,000. Well, I quickly learned that they would, because I built that trust on YouTube. I closed 100% of the calls. And I quickly realized that I couldn't handle so many people, so I just bumped the price. One of my business mentors was like, if you can't handle that many people, just raise the price and some of them will kind of go away. So I bumped it to $3,000 and still ended up closing every single call for about 3 months. Now, full transparency, I wouldn't always offer the program if I didn't feel the person was a good fit, or if they were in like a financial pickle. I didn't ever want them to like max out a credit card or anything like that. So it wasn't 100% of the people that I talked to, but it was the vast majority. So that caused me to finally settle at the $5,000 price point. I didn't really feel comfortable with a higher, because I was a musician at one point. Like, I understand that $5,000 to a musician is quite a bit of money, but I was also very confident in the transformation that we could accomplish together. So $5,000 cooled down the pace of all the yeses, right? But I got to a point where it was still 83%, it was 83.2% to be exact, closing rate for more than 2.5 years, which I found was a lot more refreshing of a balance between everybody saying yes and then having to learn along the way that certain people need different types of coaching and different types of curriculum and different types of accountability. I was in my groove at that point. It was a good balance of like the premium pricing and the high touch delivery that I was offering because I was the guy working with my clients directly. Now from there, if my client had an awesome experience and would want to continue working with me after the 12 months, I would offer them a 9-month extension program, which at the time I called my Inner Circle. And it was an additional $5,000, which, full transparency, 70 to 80% of those clients would opt in for if they would get the invite. There were some people that after 12 weeks, hey, cool, awesome, go on with your life and, mazel tov, right? But there was a lot of people who were like, no, I know that our time is coming up. How can I keep working with you? This is awesome. And so that's the reason that I started offering it in the first place. And that bumped the average from 5,000 at that time to 10,000 over the course of 12 months. Now think about what those YouTube videos eliminated for me. It eliminated the need to do cold outreach. It eliminated the need for me to do, let me tell you who I am and why you should care introduction. There was very few price objections, just pre-sold clients, friendly people, musician peers of mine who typically came to the call already knowing, liking, and trusting me. Well, at least hopefully. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you replicate this exact system into your business? Well, I'm about to break it down into 5 copy and paste steps, and these 5 steps are going to be the difference between videos that get views and make you feel cool versus a video that builds wealth and opportunity. Hopefully you still feel cool. So pay attention because most people are going to miss step 3. Step number 1. Target evergreen pain points, guys. Solve problems that won't expire. Ask yourself, is this pain point still going to exist for this pool of audience members in 5 years? If it's always relevant, the audience always has that urgent desire to find a resolution or a solution to their problem, that right there creates unstoppable momentum within your content. Now, step number 2 is creating the content trilogy before you publish that main video. You need to prepare 2 related follow-up videos. When viewers finish that first video, they immediately see 2 more waiting, potentially tripling your watch time on day 1. Now, step number 3 is front-loading social proof. If you place a compelling testimonial or a personal story within the first 60 seconds, you're onto something. This gives viewers permission to trust you. But guys, just don't make up stuff to sound more impressive than you really are. You just need to be authentic here. Now, step number 4 might be a little bit controversial, and there's a little bit of a caveat here depending on what type of business you're scaling. And let me know in the comments what type of business you'd like to grow, or you're launching, or you're trying to get into momentum. But step number 4 is 1 link, 1 form, 1 question. Confused minds don't convert. That's why Chick-fil-A's menu is so simplified, right? Including just 1 application link with 1 tracking question, like the one I used. What video inspired you to apply? But make it your own, right? This lets you trace every dollar back to a specific content piece. Now, pro tip would be to be using UTM links to get even more dialed in with your tracking, but I can nerd out about that in a different video. If you want to see me do that, let me know in the comments below as well. Now, step number 5 might be a little scary for you guys unless you're already in momentum within your business. Then you probably already know this one. Scale before you need to. Hire support staff before you're drowning in applications, before you're drowning in support emails, before you're drowning in having so many people looking to you for a service, a product, education, guidance, and you can't fulfill on that promise. That's the number 1 thing we want to avoid. So slow response time obviously kills momentum instantly, and it becomes overwhelming very quickly to try to catch up, and it feels like you're digging in sand or trying to climb straight up a mountain. It's not something that I would wish on my worst enemy. Well, maybe my worst enemy, but not you guys, right? Screenshot these steps right now because what I'm about to share with you is going to tie everything together and give you your exact next move. Okay, so we've covered the evergreen content that attracts ideal clients, the trust engine that converts strangers into believers, the simple funnel that captured over 11,000 applications for me, the $1 million breakdown that proves that this works, and the 5-step blueprint that you can implement today. But here's what matters most, in my opinion. This framework works whether you have 100 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, depending on what you are launching as a business. But only if you take action, obviously. Like I mentioned before, I built 2 7-figure businesses in the music marketing space, which is tiny compared to most niches, because out of all the people out there that consider themselves musicians, only a very small percentage actually want to learn the music marketing and business side of the industry. And then out of that small group, even less are serious about going all in. I say that because whatever your niche is, you can dominate the space by taking YouTube seriously and building a brand and a business that are undeniable. So which step are you going to implement first? And more importantly, what's the one evergreen problem that your audience desperately needs you to solve? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video with somebody who needs to see it. It could change their life. Now, before I wrap up, I want to mention that I've officially retired from my music marketing business a year or so ago. So some of the specific systems and funnels that I broke down in this video have been changed or maybe shut down since then. But the framework itself, it's timeless and it works in every niche. And if you want to see how I'm applying these exact principles to my current business, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I'm going to be sharing those behind the scenes breakdowns in upcoming videos. Guys, speaking of breakdowns, I'm breaking down how to get into momentum fast on YouTube in this video. If you haven't yet, click that little subscribe button to join the channel family here. Let me know what the biggest takeaway was from this video in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, thank you.